Good evening, friends. It's Erickson again from the Playa Animal Welfare Society, or Playa Paws as we typically call it. So in our last video, you might recall that we started to go over our federal civil rights lawsuit, and we went over the first couple sections. Mainly, who are the defendants and why are we suing these people? So in this next section, the next section is the longest part. So the whole lawsuit, the whole complaint is 56 pages. I would say about 2/3 of that is this next section, which is made up of the facts. You know, it's kind of a complicated case. There's a lot of players involved, a lot of events that have happened. So the facts have to lay out our basis for the lawsuit. So we're going to do this in several sections because it's pretty long, and I think getting through the facts as I read them would take probably a couple hours if we did it all at once. So we're going to try to keep this to about 30-minute segments if possible. Might go a little longer depending where the breaks naturally fall. So that's what we'll do. I'll try not to bore you too much by reading off the paper, but it's really quite the compelling story. It's absurd. I still can't believe that this happened, and the number of people it took to make this happen, all to a single lady that moved to Puerto Rico to save cats. Just blows the mind. So let's begin. During the month of May of 2021, Erica Incorporated, as a Puerto Rico nonprofit corporation and as a 501c3 organization with the IRS. The town of Añasco provides no animal services, has no animal shelters, and does not even have any veterinarians within a 30-minute drive. So plaintiff's organization, Playa Paws, was serving a dire need of the community, which was overrun with stray and abandoned cats and dogs. Everything was going great for Erica, and her rescue became popular and well-known throughout the island, as we were one of the only organizations taking in sick and injured cats from the streets, getting them vet care, and then flying them to adopters and no-kill rescues on the U.S. mainland. Playa Paws quickly grew to have thousands of supporters across both Puerto Rico and the U.S. mainland, and were flying over 10 cats per week off the island to loving homes and no-kill rescues. Then, 2 weeks after Hurricane Fiona, on October 3rd, 2022, while Erica's property was still without power and her whole neighborhood was literally a disaster zone after the flooding and destruction of the hurricane, an inspector from the Mayagüez Department of Health showed up at the plaintiff's home and rescue unannounced and demanded to be let inside of her house. Erica asked the inspector if he had a warrant or a court order, and he said he did not need one, but he claimed that inspectors from the Department of Health do not need to get a warrant to enter private property when they receive a complaint. Erica asked to see the complaint that had brought him to her property, and the inspector refused to show it to her or to tell her about it. Erica told the inspector that the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution protects her from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government, and this included the health department, and so she would not be letting him in. The inspector then told Erica that if she did not let him into her home, he would go and get the police and have her arrested. Erica then pulled out her cell phone and began recording the inspector. She asked him to repeat himself, but instead the inspector quickly got in his car and left. An hour later, the same inspector returned to Erica's home and rescue with 2 police cars with their lights flashing and their sirens blaring. They parked in front of the plaintiff's house and used a loud bullhorn to demand that she come outside. Erica was terrified and locked herself in her home. After about 30 minutes, they left. 2 weeks later, on October 26, 2022, Erica was served with a lawsuit from a person she had never even heard of, a woman named Maria de Los Angeles Gonzalez. The complaint said that Gonzalez had filed a complaint against Erica with the health department because she thought the plaintiff's house and animal rescue was an environmental health hazard. Gonzalez had never been to the plaintiff's house or rescue, did not live near the property, and Erica had no idea who she was. On the complaint, Gonzalez addressed Erica using her Facebook profile name, Erica Albright, and said she had been shown a Facebook post about how Erica had 80 cats on her property. This was a post from Erica's nonprofit animal rescue that was made to ask for donations after the hurricane. Not wanting to have unpleasant relationships with people in the neighborhood, Erica called Gonzalez using the phone number listed on the complaint. Gonzalez told Erica she was shocked by the call. Erica responded that she was shocked at being sued by someone she had never met before and who had never contacted her to address any concerns before filing a lawsuit. Erica told Gonzalez she wanted to be a good neighbor and she didn't want any problems. Thus, Erica asked about Gonzalez's concerns and offered to do whatever was necessary to resolve the situation. Gonzalez complained about how the plaintiff's yard looked, said Erica put out too many bags of trash, that the trash smelled, and that now she had flies at her house due to the plaintiff's trash and cats. Gonzalez claimed to be allergic to cats and said the plaintiff cats were going on her property. Erica told Gonzalez that she was in the process of having a tall fence built, so Gonzalez would no longer need to look at her yard, and she would keep her bags of trash in the yard until garbage day, that she would keep the cats on her property, but there were many stray animals in the neighborhood that were not Erica's, and she was doing her best to help catch the neighborhood cats and get them sterilized so they did not breed. Erica also told Gonzalez that many people from the neighborhood brought her stray cats and kittens and that she would fly them to the U.S. to get homes. Gonzalez responded that she did not care about the cats or what Erica did with them, but she wanted them all gone, and there was nothing Erica could do to make her happy except to get rid of all the cats. Erica then went to the store and bought Gonzalez a bug zapper because she complained of a purported infestation of flies that she blamed on the plaintiff. Erica brought the bug zapper to Gonzalez's house and discovered it was not actually her residence, but rather a resort that Gonzalez rented out to tourists on the Airbnb platform. Erica went up to the main building and noticed there were no flies, no cats, and no smells of cats or trash. Gonzalez said she did not need the bug zapper and sent Erica away. On November 10th, 2022, Erica went to court for the complaint filed by Gonzalez. The inspectors from the Mayaguez Health Department were also there waiting. Before court started, while everyone was still sitting outside, the health department told Erica's lawyer that they were going to get an order and seize all her cats. Erica asked her lawyer what law she was violating. Erica's lawyer said she was not violating any laws, but the health department would take her cats anyhow because that is what they do in Puerto Rico. The lawyer told Erica she should pack up and move all her cats somewhere else in the middle of the island. Erica told him that she could not just pack up the rescue, buy another property, and move. Erica said that if she was not violating any laws, they could not force her out of her home or take her cats. Erica's lawyer said that it was not legal, but that is what they do in Puerto Rico. In the court hearing, the department officials tried to act like it was their lawsuit against Erica. The judge was very clear with them that this was not their case, and if they wanted to take any action against Erica, they needed to conduct a proper investigation and follow proper procedures. The health department complained that Erica refused to let them in her house or to cooperate with them. The judge told them that Erica had the right to not let them in and to not cooperate with them unless they had a court order. During the hearing, the health department said Erica had cats living in tiny plastic carriers, which is an absurd lie. Those small plastic carriers were used to transport cats, and they never had any cats were living in them. And Erica had about a dozen of them stacked up under her house, which was on stilts. No cats were ever living in them. Instead, Erica had giant metal dog crates that the cats lived in while at the rescue. The judge dismissed the case and told Gonzalez to leave Erica alone and to let the authorities do their job. Instead of listening to the judge, Gonzalez went back and told everyone in the neighborhood that she had won the case against Erica, and Gonzalez's relative, Roberto Gonzalez, made a public post on Facebook saying the entire Playa community did not support the rescue, that Erica's house was filthy, that Erica was delusional in thinking she won the court case, and that Erica mistreated animals. Roberto also posted that Erica lost the court hearing and the judge had ordered her to get rid of all of the cats. This was a lie, but many people in the neighborhood believed it and began harassing the plaintiff. Erica told him not to speak to her again or she would charge him with harassment and libel. As a result of Gonzalez's lawsuit and her turning the people in the neighborhood against Erica, the plaintiff paid $15,000 to have a 6-foot-tall wooden privacy fence built to surround her entire property. This was completed at the end of November 2022. While it was being built, the husband of Janine Walker, whose name is David Walker, who were close friends with Gonzalez, repeatedly drove back and forth in front of the plaintiff's house, taking pictures and videos and harassing the fence builder. The fence builder was so disturbed by this conduct that he called Erica and requested she come home immediately because he did not feel safe. When Erica got home, she witnessed David Walker driving back and forth in front of her house, repeatedly taking pictures and videos. Janine Walker told Erica that she was good friends with Maria Gonzalez and that she had turned against Erica because several of the Playa Paz supporters had left negative comments on Gonzalez's resort Facebook page regarding her taking Erica to court and trying to shut down the animal rescue. On November 30th, 2022, construction of the fence was completed. It was a 6-foot-tall wooden privacy fence, and it prevented anyone from seeing into the plaintiff's yard. The original 4-foot-tall chain link fence was left in place outside of the wooden fence for extra security. No trespassing signs were posted, in addition to signs stating that the property was protected by video surveillance. The plaintiff thought that by winning the lawsuit and installing the fence, she had solved her problems with Gonzalez and her friends. Things were quiet until March of 2023, when Janine Walker resumed publicly attacking plaintiff on Facebook, saying Erica's house was filthy, that she did not take proper care of her animals, and that she allowed the cats and dogs to roam the neighborhood. Erica replied this was not true, that she contained her animals to her property, that her house was clean, and that Janine had never set foot on Erica's property, so she needed to stop spreading lies. On June 5th, 2023, Maria Gonzalez sent out a message to everyone in the neighborhood, inviting them to a protest she was organizing at Erica's home, saying that the reporter Melissa Correa from Teleonce would be coming to interview the neighbors about the problems they had with the plaintiff and her cats. Erica was out of town on June 5th, flying cats to adopters in New Jersey, so she was not home for the protest. However, only Gonzalez and a couple of her friends attended the supposed protest, along with Melissa Correa and her news crew from Teleonce. Nobody from Teleonce ever contacted Erica prior to showing up at her home, nor did they contact Erica in the following months when they were working on their 3-month-long investigation into the plaintiff and her animal rescue. On August 17th, 2023, a supporter of the plaintiff's rescue who had brought several injured street cats and who had been to Erica's home and rescue sent the plaintiff a message on Facebook. He was very upset and concerned because he saw an ad on Teleonce announcing a story about the plaintiff and calling Erica an animal abuser. It was about an upcoming story called The Garras del Maltrato, the claws of abuse. Erica asked him to watch and find out more about it, as she had never been informed of any news story about her or the rescue. Many other supporters across Puerto Rico contacted Erica that night and over the next several days as Teleonce continued to broadcast their ads for their upcoming investigative report about the plaintiff and how she purportedly abused animals. Teleonce, a news channel with millions of viewers, reposted these previews on their Facebook, Instagram, and website, among other media outlets. Dozens of people who had been to the plaintiff's home and rescue and who knew firsthand the wonderful work the rescue was doing responded to these posts and told Teleonce that Erica ran an excellent rescue, that the property was clean, and that the cats were very well cared for. Teleonce ignored all these passionate testimonials and proceeded to air their one-sided slander fest against the plaintiff and her nonprofit rescue. On August 22nd, 2023, Teleonce premiered their heavily promoted Garras del Maltrato, a 10-minute long parade of lies, gossip, and unsubstantiated slander with the clear intention to destroy the plaintiff and her rescue. The broadcast started out by saying, "The investigative unit delved into the case of Erica Erickson, an American who housed dozens of cats in horrible conditions in her residence in Añasco, but it does not stop there. Review the impressive findings." The opening video shows feces all over the wooden floor of a house that is not Erica's house in Añasco. Despite calling this story an investigative report, not a single person from the nonprofit animal rescue was ever contacted. Not a single member of Playa Paz board of directors, not a single adopter or volunteer who had left perfect reviews on the Facebook rescue pages, and certainly not Erica. In fact, the only time Melissa Correa tried to contact Erica was when she left a voicemail at 4:47 p.m. on August 21st, 2023, asking the plaintiff for her reaction to the news story that had already been finalized. Thus, Teleonce broadcasted Melissa Correa's one-sided story based on gossip and lies without giving Erica, the subject of the news broadcast, any opportunity to defend herself or show the truth. Yet Teleonce called this investigative reporting and further convinced the public to hate the plaintiff and to demand that the Playa Paz rescue be shut down and the cats be taken away. The Teleonce news broadcast on August 22nd, 2023 was 10 minutes of Gonzalez and her friends talking about Erica having a filthy house and not taking proper care of the cats, which they claimed constituted a public health hazard to the entire neighborhood. Teleonce repeatedly stated that the plaintiff was housing nearly 100 cats in deplorable conditions, which was a lie. Teleonce intentionally, albeit unsubstantiated, portrayed Erica as an animal hoarder who lived in filth and did not take proper care of the cats. They did not mention that Playa Paz is a Puerto Rico registered nonprofit animal rescue with perfect reviews, that the animal rescue is located on the first level of the property, outside, not inside Erica's home, nor that they rescued over 500 cats per year from the streets of Puerto Rico before flying them to loving homes and no-kill rescues in the U.S. The Teleonce story went on to falsely say that Erica was investigated in North Carolina for operating a rescue without a license. Teleonce then speculated and said that following these allegations, Erica left North Carolina and moved to Puerto Rico as if she was fleeing from North Carolina to avoid being charged when the truth was that the plaintiff was never charged or convicted of anything pertaining to animals in North Carolina or anywhere else. Teleonce then showed an interview they did with some random man named Jorge Gonzalez, who Erica had never met in her life, who had never been to her rescue in Puerto Rico, and who only knew of Erica and the Playa Paz rescue because he was part of a Facebook group called the Flight Angels that helped match volunteer travelers with pets needing flights to the U.S. Teleonce portrayed him as some sort of authority figure pertaining to animal rescue when this man had never operated any sort of animal rescue in his life. Without fact-checking anything that this man was saying or who he truly was, Teleonce broadcast his interview where he claimed to have investigated Erica and her rescue. He said there were many cases against Erica in North Carolina, including animal abuse, although both he and Teleonce knew this was a lie. The plaintiff has never been accused of animal abuse anywhere she lived. He repeated the reports from neighbors who complained about cats in cages, trash, and the smell, but he had absolutely no knowledge about Erica or the Playa Paz rescue other than gossip and lies he had read on Facebook. Regardless, Teleonce broadcast this interview without bothering to fact-check his allegations. Teleonce followed this interview with a screenshot of a Facebook post from 2020 from a random person in North Carolina who had made false allegations against Erica. Teleonce portrayed this Facebook post as if it were somehow proof that the plaintiff abused animals and further went on to cast aspersions about Erica, claiming that she has various rescue organizations. This is not true. Melissa Correa then goes on to ask, who is Erica Erickson? She answers this question by putting up the disbarment order from 2019, where Erica was disbarred as an attorney in North Carolina for notarizing a document without her client signing the document in her presence. This has absolutely nothing to do with Erica's animal rescue or the supposed complaints by people in her neighborhood, but Teleonce broadcast this in order to damage the plaintiff's reputation and to turn the public against her and her animal rescue. Melissa Correa then says that one of the neighbors, co-defendant Maria Gonzalez, filed a complaint against Erica with the health department. Despite putting an email from the health department on the screen for a brief moment, which showed that the health department had investigated Gonzalez's claims against Erica and had closed the case in January of 2023, Teleonce never mentioned this fact. Instead, Teleonce put Gonzalez on the screen, who said Erica was illegally operating a business without the required licenses or permits, which is a lie. Puerto Rico does not require a breeder's license or any other license for a person to rescue animals. Teleonce failed to point this out and allowed these false allegations to be broadcast, accusing Erica of committing crimes and civil violations for operating without required licenses or permit. Teleonce stated that Erica had refused to let the police or health department into her property, but failed to mention that this incident occurred a year earlier and that the plaintiff had won the court case and the Department of Health had closed their investigation 8 months earlier. Teleonce then aired false and defamatory statements from various friends of Maria Gonzalez, including that Erica's home posed a threat to the well-being of the community, that she keeps more than 100 cats inside of her home, and that she did not care about cats or how she was affecting the neighborhood. However, none of the people interviewed by Teleonce lived anywhere near the rescue, nor had a single one of them ever been inside Erica's home or rescue, so they had no proof or knowledge of any of these horrendous lies that Maria Gonzalez and Teleonce broadcast to millions of people without verifying anything. Next, Teleonce says that they showed pictures and videos of Erica's house and cats to the president of the Board of Veterinarians of Puerto Rico, a man named Ricardo Fernandez. He was not, nor has he ever been, the president of the Board of Veterinarians in Puerto Rico. This veterinarian is located in San Juan, had never been to Erica's home or rescue, had never seen any of her animals, and had never met the plaintiff. Yet based on Teleonce showing him some pictures of cats, including a dead cat alongside of a road, this vet declared that Erica was worse than the man who had shot the dog on the golf course, and someone needed to get a court order and shut down the Playa Paz rescue. This fast-paced news broadcast with one awful accusation quickly followed by the next went on to ask, what is her modus operandi? A phrase generally reserved to describe criminal behavior. The reporter stated that after rescuing the cats, Erica then sold them for as much as $600 each. This is a complete lie. The plaintiff operates a non-profit animal rescue and does not sell cats. Playa Paz charges an adoption fee, which is similar to any other cat rescue located on the island, and has never charged anywhere near $600 to adopt a cat. Teleonce then shows a price list with pictures of cats from the Playa Paz rescue with handwritten prices listed next to each cat as if it were a menu of cats for sale. This document was fabricated by Teleonce in order to make it look like the plaintiff sold cats. Teleonce falsely asserted that the plaintiff sold most of the cats and that she sent some of the cats to the U.S. But Playa Paz flies almost all of the cats to the U.S., not some of them, and half of the cats are flown to no-kill shelters at the rescue's own expense, and the other half is flown to adopters. This is not selling cats, and it is no different than dozens of other rescues across the island. Teleonce's next allegation in the parade of falsities is a graphic created and posted by Jorge Gonzalez in the Flight Angels Facebook group telling people to beware of Erica because she breeds cats, keeps them in filthy conditions, causes them all to be sick due to filthy conditions, and alleging that plaintiff engaged in fraud and animal abuse. This is yet another unsubstantiated lie that Teleonce broadcast in order to stir up as much hate and animus against Erica in the eyes of the Puerto Rico public. Teleonce followed this with an interview of Jorge Gonzalez. Followed this with an interview with a friend of Jorge Gonzalez named Jada Adorno. This woman is part of the Flight Angels Facebook group and is a former disgraced NYPD officer who was criminally convicted of falsifying police reports in order to cover up for her then boyfriend, who was a wanted felon. A court determined that Jada Adorno then tried to blame an innocent police officer for the false reports to save herself. The truth was revealed by an investigation by the NYPD, and Jada was forced to resign from the NYPD. Instead of fact-checking the allegations by this convicted falsifier, fraudster, and liar, Teleonce broadcast her false allegations against Erica, where she claimed the plaintiff had sent a dying kitten to an adopter, then blocked the adopter and kept the $400 adoption fee. This is completely false and just more gossip that Teleonce chose to broadcast in order to make Erica look like a horrible pet seller who exploits and abuses cats for a profit. And then Teleonce continued their parade of slanderous lies with an interview with the supposed anonymous veterinarian in Massachusetts who claimed that Erica had sent a very sick cat there and it was in the worst condition of any cat the vet had ever seen. This is another unsubstantiated lie. Teleonce never had any adopter in Massachusetts who had to rush their cat to the vet after adopting it from the rescue. Who is this cat? Who's the adopter? When did the cat arrive there? When was it brought to the vet? What was the diagnosis? The public will never know because Teleonce did not bother to collect any of the facts about the situation. They were satisfied to just get one more person to say something negative about Erica and her rescue. The facts and truth were irrelevant to Teleonce. The news story had one purpose, which was to present as much awful gossip about Erica as they could to completely destroy the plaintiff and her nonprofit rescue, Playa Paz. Melissa Correa then stated that she contacted the prosecutor, Andres Fernandez Vera, but he had not responded in time for the news broadcast. Evidently, Teleonce was trying to get Erica criminally prosecuted based on their false claims. Then Teleonce quickly moved to the next allegation, where they sent another reporter out to Erica's home on another day when Erica was gone flying cats to the U.S. The reporter claimed there were dead cats around the plaintiff's property, which is a lie. As with many places in Puerto Rico, you can sometimes find a dead cat or dog alongside the road. So instead of telling the truth and saying that there was a cat that had been hit by a car near the plaintiff's house, Teleonce said there were dead cats around Erica's house with lots of trash. Of course, the plaintiff put out many bags of trash each week because she ran an animal rescue and she cleaned the litter boxes every day, and this generates a lot of trash. It is not a crime or something shameful to put trash out to the curb to be picked up by the proper authorities. Yet Teleonce used misleading and inflammatory language to portray the plaintiff's home as surrounded by dead cats and trash in order once again to make the plaintiff look like a filthy and disgusting person. Teleonce then presented an interview with another friend of Maria Gonzalez who said that she saw 2 dead cats along the highway and she was almost certain they came from the plaintiff's house. She complained that the trash that Erica put out for pickup smelled horrible and attracted flies. However, this is not unique to the plaintiff, nor does anyone live close enough to smell the trash, nor is it a crime to put out as many bags of trash as you want on trash day. Teleonce then declared that inside the plaintiff's home, there were more than 80 cats. This is another lie. There were no cats being kept inside of the plaintiff's house. All cats were outside, with all the cages being under the house in the open air part of the rescue, and most cats were not in cages, but were allowed to roam the securely fenced rescue property. As if there had not yet been enough talk about how bad the plaintiff's trash smelled, Teleonce then showed an interview with David Walker, the husband of Janine Walker, who was interviewed earlier. These people lived nowhere near the plaintiff and had no reason to ever come to Erica's house. Nonetheless, David Walker stated how awful the plaintiff's trash smelled. The reporter then walked onto the vacant property next to the plaintiff's and showed Erica's home on the news for about the 10th time, saying that the plaintiff had security cameras, as if to suggest that she was engaged in nefarious activities. However, a simple editorial review would have revealed that the plaintiff had installed security cameras because her home and property were burglarized 4 times in 2022, and the police had indicated that unless she caught the burglar on video, they would not come out to investigate. Teleonce's reporter then said that the neighbors told the news that Erica threw dead kittens over the fence onto the surrounding land, which is another lie. In true witch hunt fashion, Teleonce then stated that ever since the American had moved to the neighborhood, mysterious things had begun to happen. They then went on to show an interview with Maria Gonzalez's sister, Trinidad Olivares, where she repeated that ever since Erica moved to the neighborhood, mysterious things have been happening, not only with the cats, but also with the dogs. She then blamed plaintiff for dogs going missing from the neighborhood. Teleonce made the decision not to mention that most people in the neighborhood liked Erica, would bring her stray, injured, and homeless cats, and they thanked the plaintiff for providing a valuable service to the community. Instead, Teleonce focused on a small group of friends who wanted the plaintiff gone because Maria Gonzalez was complaining that Playa Paz Rescue was destroying her Airbnb business. Teleonce broadcast their stories on TV, Facebook, Instagram, and their website. They aired stories on TV 3 times per day, including middle of the day, late afternoon, and evening for millions of viewers. Plaintiff immediately began receiving threats, horrible messages and comments, and negative reviews from strangers on her animal rescue pages. She was called an animal abuser and told she should go to jail and die. After this marathon of gossip about the plaintiff and the Playa Paz Rescue, which went on for a full 10-minute news broadcast on August 22nd, 2023, Teleonce still was not done. The next night, August 23rd, 2023, they devoted another news broadcast to telling their millions of viewers that the plaintiff was a horrible animal-abusing criminal. During this news broadcast, Teleonce repeated that Erica was a supposed animal rescue who had dozens of cats living in deplorable conditions. They had absolutely no proof of this false statements. Since they had no proof of this, Teleonce proceeded to show the plaintiff's half on one side of the screen, while on the other half of the screen, they were showing cats from Rio Piedras, 95 miles away from the plaintiff's home and rescue, that had been shown on a completely unrelated Teleonce news story about the cats in Rio Piedras being poisoned and killed. Teleonce was intentionally misrepresenting the images of the Rio Piedras cats as if they were found suffering and dying on and around the plaintiff's property. Despite briefly showing on the previous broadcast the email from the Department of Health stating that the case against the plaintiff had been investigated and closed in January of 2023, Teleonce brought health department inspectors to the plaintiff's home and demanded to know why they were not doing anything to shut Erica down. Teleonce's broadcast showed 4 employees from the health department standing outside Erica's house and pointing up at Erica's house. On the screen, it stated that the health department was waiting for a court order to enter the plaintiff's property. Teleonce once again failed to mention that the health department had investigated the complaint made by Maria Gonzalez the prior year, had found the complaint to be unsubstantiated, and closed the case. Teleonce then illegally trespassed onto the plaintiff's property and put one of their cameras over the top of the 6-foot-tall wooden privacy fence to film inside of the plaintiff's property. They put this footage on the news and said the plaintiff had dozens of cages with cats being confined in them, as if this were somehow illegal. The reporter stated that the complaints against the plaintiff dated back to May of 2022, and that she had blocked the health department from entering the property every time they had shown up and had refused to attend to them. This is a lie. The plaintiff had attended to them and told them that unless they had a search warrant, they should not come back. They all went to court, and the plaintiff won the case, and the health department closed their investigation over 8 months prior to these allegations by Teleonce. No new complaints had been filed, and the only individual who had ever filed any complaint against the plaintiff was Maria Gonzalez. Yet Teleonce claimed that many complaints had been filed, as if this were an ongoing case instead of a closed case. To make it worse, Teleonce put on the screen that plaintiff had 80 cats living in dangerous conditions. This is an unsubstantiated lie. They then put on an interview with another supposed neighbor and obscured his identity. This man claimed the plaintiff lit cats on fire and intentionally injured them in order to get money. This is a very horrendous and inflammatory lie with absolutely no basis in fact. Plaintiff believes this anonymous neighbor is Orlando Gonzalez, who lived about half a mile away from the plaintiff and had been stalking her for over a year. He is a violent, convicted felon with serious mental health problems. Erica had to get a restraining order against him because he was obsessed with one of her friends and saw her as competition. Orlando poisoned the plaintiff's cats, stole one of her puppies and killed it, and then hung its dead body at the plaintiff's gate, broke into her car, chased her with a metal pipe, and endlessly stalked and harassed her. Erica saw him talking to the Teleonce reporters outside of her house shortly before they aired his atrocious allegations about her. But as with all other gossip and false allegations, Teleonce did not look into this or disclose this information to their viewers. Instead, with no fact-checking whatsoever, they put the false allegations of this madman on television in front of millions of viewers as if it were the verified truth. As a result, Erica has been threatened and attacked repeatedly by people who believe she lights cats on fire and causes them horrible physical injuries in order to get money. This is so disgusting and absurd that it is unconscionable that anyone, much less a television news channel with millions of viewers, would broadcast and publish such allegations, not only on TV, on the news, but also across Facebook, Instagram, and other social media. Then Teleonce admitted that there had only been complaints against the plaintiff due to trash and the smell, and there had not been any complaints against plaintiff for animal cruelty. Nonetheless, Teleonce then went and met with the police officer in charge of animal welfare in Mayaguez, Agent Jose Flores. The Teleonce reporter showed Agent Flores the price list that Teleonce had fabricated and that they had showed on the news broadcast the night before, where they claimed that plaintiff was selling cats for up to $600 each. Teleonce spoke with this police officer and showed him their fabricated price list and asked him if it was legal for Erica to be selling cats. Agent Flores responded that it was illegal for the plaintiff to be selling cats and she needed a special license to do so. Agent Flores did not question the reporter about her fabricated price list or do any investigation to try to substantiate the accusation that the plaintiff illegally sold cats. Instead, he declared on the news broadcast in front of millions of viewers that the plaintiff was breaking the law and illegally selling cats. The reporter then showed Agent Flores some pictures of the cats in the rescue that were being housed in cages. There is no law stating that animal rescuers cannot keep cats in cages. As long as they have sufficient room, it's fine. Every animal rescue in Puerto Rico keeps animals confined. There is no other way to run a rescue with many animals, especially when the animals are sick, injured, nursing babies, or waiting to be sterilized. Nonetheless, Agent Flores went on to declare the plaintiff was violating numerous laws. Even though he'd never been to Erica's home or rescue, had never spoken to her, and had never spoken to anyone who had even set foot on Erica's property. Agent Flores went on to tell the millions of Teleonce news viewers that the plaintiff was illegally confining cats and illegally breeding and selling cats, and that the health department oversaw the investigation of such violations. The reporter then stated they needed a neighbor to go to the police and file an official complaint to get plaintiff criminally charged by the prosecutor. The reporter then went on to repeat that Erica was investigated in North Carolina and she was found to be running an animal rescue without a license or permit. This is another lie. There was an unsubstantiated accusation the plaintiff was running an animal shelter with a license, but she was cleared of any wrongdoing and was never charged or convicted of this crime or any other crime against animals. Not only was Teleonce reckless in their reporting of the lies, gossip, and unsubstantiated allegations against the plaintiff, but they were also shockingly malicious. They did not fact-check any of the allegations of the neighbors. They claimed that they spent 3 months doing an in-depth investigation into the plaintiff and Playa Paz rescue. Yet they never spoke with Erica, nor anyone affiliated with the rescue. They even went so far as to fabricate evidence against the plaintiff, which they presented to the police, prosecutor, and health department to demand that Erica be shut down and charged criminally. This led not only to most of the island to hate Erica and think that she was an animal abuser who keeps cats in filthy conditions, breeds and sells them for her own profit, and even lights them on fire to get money and sympathy. Other than lies from people who clearly had motives to make up such allegations, Teleonce had no proof of any of the accusations that they put on the news in front of millions of people and on the news and social media, and yet they took their fabricated evidence and neighborhood gossip to the police, prosecutor, and health department and demanded that the plaintiff be arrested. In the days following these slanderous news broadcasts by Teleonce, Erica's life became a living nightmare. Villa Michelle Animal Shelter and low-cost veterinary clinic banned her from rescuing animals from their high-kill shelter, canceled all her upcoming spay-neuter appointments, and told the plaintiff she was not welcome back due to what they saw on Teleonce. Thousands of people were resharing the Teleonce news stories all over social media, and Erica was getting endless hate messages, threats, negative reviews, and her home was even vandalized. Someone mysteriously ripped down and smashed the 2 surveillance cameras the plaintiff had on the front of her house, which faced the street and front gate. People would stop in front of Erica's house and scream that she was an animal abuser and she should rot in hell. People began harassing Playa Paz supporters, adopters, and volunteers, and many adopters canceled their adoptions, and donors were filing disputes and demanding the return of their donations they had made to the rescue due to these false news stories by Teleonce. Erica fell into a horrible depression and could not eat, sleep, or even think straight. She went from having a quiet life, running a nonprofit cat rescue, and minding her own business, to becoming the most hated woman in all of Puerto Rico. Her face, name, home, and rescue were broadcast for the whole world to see, with a clear yet false message that she was an awful, filthy, greedy criminal who bred, sold, and abused cats for a profit while ruining the whole neighborhood with smelly trash and sick and dying cats running everywhere. Today, a year later, the hate-filled attacks continue against the plaintiff and her rescue as people continue to share and repost the Teleonce news stories as if they were the truth. And nobody will listen to or believe Erica when she tries to tell them the truth, that Teleonce maliciously broadcasts these lies because most people cannot fathom that a major news channel would attack a single woman living alone and running a little cat rescue unless it were true. But these false stories by Teleonce had much more sinister consequences, far beyond the destruction of the plaintiff's life, rescue, and reputation. At the urging of Teleonce, co-defendant Maria Gonzalez went to the Añasco police station on August 25th, 2023, and filed a complaint against the plaintiff alleging everything that Teleonce had aired on the news. She made her report to Captain Jose Figueroa Andujar. So we'll stop here for a break. There's a lot more to the story. The next section of video will include the details of the illegal police raid. So if you haven't done so, go back, watch our first video on this series regarding our federal civil rights lawsuit. Again, leave any comments or questions in the comment section of the video. In the description of the video is a link to the whole 56-page lawsuit that I'm reading from, along with all of our other documents on all the related court cases. And also on our YouTube channel, you can see proof of everything that I'm saying in this lawsuit. I've documented everything. I have proof of the false news stories, and the prosecutor's been putting witnesses on the stand in my criminal case who have actually revealed a lot more information that I would have never been able to access that helps our case and help prove how this whole thing was a setup by Teleonce and how the police failed to investigate anything and that they only raided my house because of pressure from the news stories from Teleonce. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.